right now? Do I start talking?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Hi, welcome back to Skoldiers and Spice on the Vikings First and SKOL Network. Wishing you a happy Victory Wednesday. I'm Sally. This is our 4th Victory Wednesday in a row, if you can believe that. And this one's the sweetest one yet because it was our Minnesota Vikings defeated the Green Bay Packers 31-29 at Lambeau Field. If you tuned in to my last episode, I shared a couple stories of my past experiences at Lambeau, but sadly, I had to miss this one. And I had a ton of FOMO. So thankfully, I have someone here who is going to fill us in on everything that went down that you didn't see on TV. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is my very good friend, Josh. You may know him on Vikings Twitter as Tennesota. As I just said, he was at Lambeau Field this past Sunday, so he's going to fill us in. Were the Packers fans upset? Did they leave early? Like, what went down? But first things first, Josh, I'm sure people are going to pick up on your accent pretty early. They're going to want to know, where the heck are you from? How did you become a Vikings fan? Give us the backstory.
I do have an accent, as you can probably already determine from the first few words. I actually met Sally from Twitter, and I became a Vikings fan from, I didn't really have an NFL team until I moved here, and then through Twitter interactions and, kind of just picked up the team from, living here and going to games and meeting people like Sally and tailgating, and just naturally took to the local team.
Yeah, you're the grill master, actually, of the tailgate. And so you're from Tennessee.
I am from Tennessee.
And
Go Vols.
Go Vols. I know. So Tyler Fornes, who has a show on Vikings First and SKOL, the Real Forno Show, I was surprised to hear that his most hated team, I believe in all of sports, is the Tennessee Volunteers.
That's not surprising.
Really?
Usually Tennessee is, there's no in between. You either love us or you hate us. So.
Yeah. I just thought most in all of sports. I mean, that was pretty extreme. But Tyler, I'm sorry for betraying you. Don't hold it against me, okay?
I'm sorry, Tyler.
Okay, and so you and I, if you heard the last episode, I recanted some Lambeau tales. I didn't get through them all, even though I intended to. But you and I actually went to Lambeau Field together in 2018.
My first time.
Yeah, it was your first time. And we had a unique experience.
A tie.
A tie is the only tie game I've ever been to.
I remember that specifically because I remember how mad you were. You mad, shocking, I know. But it was so weird going out of the game because both sets of fans didn't really know how to act. No one was really happy, but no one was really mad, except for you.
I was not the only mad person there. Well, because I guess now that you say that, I was mad. But I just remember sitting there, and for some reason, I didn't realize that there was no double overtime in the NFL. I know this, but being in that moment of just sitting there, like, okay, this isn't going to end, really. Everyone just starts getting up and walking out. And, because I never liked Kirk Cousins. I never wanted Kirk Cousins to be on the team. So obviously I fully blamed him for the loss. You're like a complete opposite from me. You're, I think, what they would call a Kirk stan.
My main remembrance of that day was Daniel Carlson ruining it and wanting to leave Daniel Carlson in Green Bay.
I mean, they almost did.
They almost did. And Mike Zimmer basically recently coming out and saying they almost did leave him there. So I've been vindicated.
Well, and now the Packers are having the same issue with their rookie kicker. So
It's about time someone else had these struggles.
Exactly. Okay, so we're let's get into it. Let's get into what happened on Sunday. Like we just said, we went together in 2018. And have you been 2 times since then, or 3 times?
Yes. I went last year and then this year as well.
Okay.
Last year was fun until the Achilles, obviously. So that kind of dampened it, but we still won. This year was kind of strange because we went. It was fun listening to the Packers, call in show on the way there because, their fans are just hyping it up like they were just going to dominate us for some reason, which is strange because I think, given that we've already played good teams and won, you would think that we'd get a little bit more respect than that. But
Well, they're delusional. I didn't know they had a call-in show also.
well, it was the no free advertisement, but it was the local station's Packer show.
Right.
Um,
The same one we listened to
the
after they
same one we
lose?
listened to.
Okay.
Yeah. But they were calling in saying that they were gonna, win going away basically.
Okay.
But anyways, we got there. We were waiting to go in. We were waiting for tickets to go down. And in the process of waiting for tickets to go down, basically there wasn't any tickets left. So by the time we got around to getting a ticket, we're already up 28-0, and people are leaving. So what a turn of events, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So they were already leaving after the first quarter?
After the first quarter, people were filing out. Yeah, I even asked the some of the ushers that worked outside of the stadium, the security guards, of if a ticket is scanned, if you can rescan it, because I was going to ask somebody that was leaving to buy their screenshot from them for like $100 and just rescan it and go in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't do that?
Can't do it apparently.
Damn it.
I thought I had a system worked out.
Yeah, I know. It should have worked. Well, because the prices just keep going up.
Well, they held pretty steady. They were fairly expensive, but we ended up kind of holding out, and then some Champions League or Champions Club, I think they're called, tickets popped up, which are the the luxury section with the all inclusive drinks and food, and I think they were around $400. So we jumped on those real quick, and we get to the gate, and the email hasn't come through with the actual tickets. So shout out to the security guard. He just pulled up my email and took my phone and held it up to the scanner and did one of those twice, and just kind of gave us the look like don't say anything and walk on through.
Wow.
So just gave him the look of like thanks and just kept it moving.
I can't believe they did that for a Vikings fan at that.
I couldn't believe it either, but I wasn't gonna nothing needed to be said. So we got in and we kept waiting on the email, but it never came. So Jimmy is itching to get to the luxury section, whereas my mind is immediately like, I'm trying to get a refund. I don't care about the tickets at this point. I know I'm watching for free.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're already up 28-0, so win-win, right?
Right, because that happened to us once. I think it was the home opener in 2018. You and I had gotten tickets, I remember, on StubHub, and they were, I don't remember, they were maybe like $200 or $250, but they were for the suite in Mystic Lake. And we go, our tickets scanned, and then we get to Mystic Lake, our tickets scan again, and we're sitting in our seats. And then, I don't know, like maybe halfway through the first quarter, someone comes and they're like, you're in our seats. I'm like, no, we're not. And we had bought fraudulent tickets on StubHub, which we obviously didn't know, but they just let us stay in the suite, thank God. And then the next day I called StubHub and we got those for free.
Yeah, it was a similar scenario to this, other than didn't actually ever get the tickets.
Yeah.
So just contacting support, they gave me the refund. They offered of like, well, you can get comparable tickets or you can get a full refund. Well, I'm already standing on the rail watching the game at this point. I don't want the tickets. I'll just take the refund.
Right.
But I think the irritating thing was that, we were so close to, we were one play away from it really clearing out, right?
Yeah.
That punt that was muffed right before the half,
yeah,
that stadium was so close to being empty.
Yeah. How many would you say left after the first quarter? What percentage would you say?
Most of them stayed. Now, there was a few, probably like 10% left.
Okay.
But if that punt wouldn't have been muffed, I would say probably 75% of people were like standing up, like waiting to leave.
No way.
Because it was about to be, 28-0 at halftime.
Well, I know, but you and I actually, again, we sat together for the biggest comeback in NFL history, 33 points. And full disclosure, I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave. I was so pissed off, which I really don't get pissed anymore. But I was pissed that day because it's supposed to be a shirt and hat game. We're playing a terrible team. And I was just like, I don't want to watch this anymore. We have free alcohol at the car and I need to get drunk after watching this. And thankfully I was kept saying like, let's go. And you guys were just acting like you didn't even hear me.
Shirt and hat game.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of.
Yeah, I know. I got the 22. That wasn't even planned. I got the 22 shirt hat on too. But yeah, you guys like thankfully didn't let me leave, but that's what I was I wasn't thinking that at the time that they could have came back that much, but that would have anyway, it didn't end up happening, but it's like don't people ever learn?
Well, I think for them you could kind of tell that he couldn't really move. It didn't
Jordan
look like
Love.
he could really move around and we were just dominating them, so I could see that. I guess I could see if you were leaving at that point, but I'm one of those people, if I paid to go in, I'm getting my money's worth. Like, unless it's like 45-0, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
But I get it if you leave. That's not me.
Right. Yeah. So compared to your previous times, their spirits were much lower.
Spirits were low. Spirits were low. No, I will say I love going there. Their fans are very cordial.
Mm-hmm.
Their fans that are from there are not like the Green Bay fans that are from here.
Yeah,
they're
completely
very
different.
Mm-hmm. They're very kind. They're very welcoming. They'll offer you food. They'll offer you beer. They're great. It's probably my favorite place to go. So if you've never been, absolutely go. It's a great stadium. Anyone that should be on your bucket list if you've never been.
Yeah, I agree. I was talking about this on the last episode too, is I would have never imagined going there that they would be that nice, especially to us. And I've never, other than one time, which was a night game, had this girl like totally in my face and trying to fight me. And I was just like, sorry, your team sucks. I don't know what to tell you. But other than that experience, everyone has been so nice to me there.
Great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're completely different. Here, Packer fans are the arrogant type that I've talked about before. And I don't know. I think that there's not much more disappointing than being a Minnesota born Packers fan. It's just, it's a whole thing. So, okay. And I haven't heard much about your experience. All I heard was that they were leaving early. And then I heard that you were telling them not to jump.
Oh. I may have said something to that effect. I can neither confirm nor deny.
How did they react when that was possibly allegedly said?
They weren't the largest fans of that. Most of them, as they don't really engage in trash talk. They're not like Eagles or Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
They take it pretty well, I have to say. But at that point, I think the game, that was one of those games that I don't think the game was ever in doubt, really. Like, even though it was close at the end, like, don't be fooled. Like, that game we dominated. Like, even though the score was close at the end, there was never a point where I thought we were going to lose. Like,
yeah, so you never felt like this could be a 33-point comeback?
No.
Never.
No, because the whole second half was basically just us trying to run the clock out.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, which is why I still don't understand. I mean, there's so many Vikings fans that I even heard yesterday complaining about the win, and I heard someone say this is a habit for them in the third quarter. They take their foot off the gas, and the defense is tired, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, were we watching the same game? I mean, even if that were the case, which I don't believe it is, who complains about winning at Lambeau Field?
If you're mad about beating a rival on the road in that fashion where you go up 28-0, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know either. But it was a delicious win. And I listened to Fan Line afterwards, the Packers wine line. I love listening to it. And so many fans that called in were extremely critical of Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and saying that they should have played Malik Willis.
Jimmy and I, our good friend Jimmy, we were saying the same thing when we were talking to them that Love couldn't really move. I was surprised they risked putting him out there because he was wearing a brace.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of his game is being able to move around. And, if he can't move, that kind of cuts down on his effectiveness. And he threw several interceptions, like it was clearly bothering him. So
yeah,
I'm surprised that they risked putting him out there against, the defense that has the most sacks in the NFL. Like,
I didn't understand the logic either, other than, obviously he's going to be rusty his first game back. Maybe they thought, well, maybe they already counted themselves out on that game. I doubt it, but I didn't really understand it either. Like they kind of set him up to get hurt. What was it like when Matt LaFleur went on the field and he got that penalty when he was freaking out?
It's so weird and I don't remember seeing this at any other stadium, and we were laughing about this, and they've done it both times that recently. I don't remember if they did this when you and I went, but I know they've done it the both times that Jimmy and I went the last 2 years. They show him on the big screen of like him trying to hype the crowd up.
Oh, really?
And I don't recall seeing that at any other stadium. And it's so weird. Like they'll show him on the screen of like, raising the roof trying to hype the crowd up on like a third down. I don't know why. It's so bizarre. And I don't recall any other stadium doing that. So there's a weird dynamic with, I don't know if he asked them to do that or if they just do it. I don't know.
I don't remember. I can't even think of a head coach in general that does that.
I can't think of any other head coach that would do that other than maybe Dan Campbell or the Sirianni for the Eagles. That's the only two I can think of that would do that.
Well, and Sean Payton, obviously, if he's trolling somebody, if he's trolling.
Sure.
But okay, any other thoughts you want to share from the day?
No, it was a great trip. It was a great trip. It's always a fun time going to Lambeau Field, coming home with a win. I think we'll get them twice this year.
Well, we won the Super Bowl, according to many. We won our Super Bowl already. It's only September. Or that was September still when we won our Super Bowl.
Hey, I'm flattered that they think that is our Super Bowl. But, hey, we'll take it. We don't have a Super Bowl, so I'll take a Super Bowl.
That's what I say. I'm getting like trolled on TikTok really hard because I posted a clip of the show from last week where they think that's such an own. They're like, oh, well, congrats on your Super Bowl. It's like, well, thank you. Thank you for congratulating me.
What's funny about that is that you would think that someone making that comment would have rattled off several Super Bowls recently.
Yes, exactly.
Like you would think maybe the Chiefs would say that, or maybe the Patriots.
Right.
You guys haven't won a Super Bowl recently. Let's chill out a little bit.
Right. It's been since 2010
It's been a while. And it's been a while before that too. Like, let's calm down.
Right. Yeah. It's honestly more embarrassing that you have like 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back and you only won 2.
Right.
Because we have never had one of those.
We've been in the wilderness. Come on.
Yes, we've been in the wilderness. Exactly. Okay. And actually today, Green Bay Lambeau Field did get voted least favorite place for players to play.
Or for like road trips.
Yeah, for road trips.
That's not surprising. I'm going to guess the average NFL player is not going to have a lot of nightlife in Green Bay, Wisconsin when they come to visit.
True.
I'm going to guess the higher ones on the list are probably Miami, New York, et cetera, et cetera. But
yeah, I didn't catch which ones were the favorites to play, but I when I saw Green Bay at the top of that list, and it was an overwhelming percentage. I'm like, well, we got to bring that up. Yeah. I think it's also the grass. All the grass stadiums did rank the least favorite.
Really?
Yeah, like Buffalo was one of them. Obviously, Washington is one of them. I have to think what the other ones are. But yeah, we never miss an opportunity to shit on Green Bay, Wisconsin here on Skoldiers and Spice whenever we get a chance. Well, let's move on.
Sure.
Let's move on. Okay, so It's not really necessarily a secret that you didn't love the Vikings draft.
I would like to, I would love to say that I've been vindicated already. My guy, Jaden Daniels, has been an absolute stud.
He's killing it.
He's killing it. That's the guy I wanted. I've already been vindicated. So yes, I didn't love our draft.
At the draft party, you were very upset.
I was very upset, and now you see why.
Well, you were very upset. Well, did they even have a chance to get him in the first place?
I could have made a move.
Yeah, so you were very upset about it, and I think both of us going into the season had low expectations. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody saw it being this good. But I think you and I were probably on the lower end of expectations compared to most people. The silver lining with that was we're like, well, the tickets are going to be cheap.
And they have been.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to continue to be the case, but they have been very affordable this year.
They have. If you haven't been to a game yet, you better come before they start rising, because I think, like she said, that's probably going to cease.
Yeah, they do. But then I guess in December, well, we'll see. We have 4 freaking home games in December. 4. I mean, how did we get that?
It's a dome. No excuses. You're inside.
Well, I know, but the tailgate situation is my concern. Like,
right,
no one's going to come to the tailgate the last 4 games.
Well, we've got it figured out, but I don't know if everyone else does.
Yeah, we've got it figured out. I mean, I don't know, though. The propane prices, the propane prices in this economy, we might not be able to afford 4 games.
We'll see. We might be using hand warmers this year, shaking packets.
I really hope not, but that is possible. But and speaking of, before I move on from our rookie quarterback situation that you didn't love, I did hear that you actually made these. Okay, so let's go back. If you would have had it your way, either they would have got Jaden Daniels, or correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never heard this from you. You love Tennessee's quarterback, Nico.
Oh, absolutely.
So you would have preferred them to defer on the quarterback year and get Nico this coming draft.
Yeah, if they could get Nico, I would do anything to get Nico. But that's
anything.
I mean, that's the chances of that happening are pretty slim, right? You can't.
It's a pipe dream.
We would have to be bad for that to happen, and it doesn't look like we're going to be bad enough for that to happen. So,
well, yeah, I'm just saying, in like a dream scenario, say they didn't get a quarterback this year, that would be like your preference.
That's dream scenario.
Yes.
Sure.
So I did hear that you actually echoed this sentiment in front of our rookie quarterback's dad, who you did not know was his dad at the time.
Yes, that did happen. I did not know that. I'm actually kind of embarrassed because I didn't know you were going to bring that up. But this is good content, because I didn't know you were going to bring that up. And so that did happen. And I did not know it was his dad. And I actually felt kind of bad because, I was thinking, like, if that was my dad, of how, he would feel if, someone was saying those things
did
about
he hear
me.
you?
I'm pretty sure he heard me.
Oh,
now,
shit.
I didn't say anything crazy, like,
Well, and let's clarify. You weren't saying this to him.
No, I wasn't saying it to him.
You were saying it to Thor.
I was saying it to Thor. I didn't say anything super slanderous, like I would normally say. And also, I didn't know. But
no.
As an aside, he needs to know the pressure's on. You got 1 year, buddy. You got 1 year.
Well, so it's not going to count.
Uh-huh.
You can't say that when he's not even playing this year.
I'm kidding. But,
I know you're kidding. Yeah. I know you're totally kidding.
But that being said, if Sam Darnold keeps playing like he's been playing, I think we have a real problem on our hands with that decision. Like, we're going to be right back where we were just at.
Yep.
With, another decision, except now it's going to be more with, instead of like a divided to where we have like people don't really like him, people do like him. It's going to more, okay, everybody likes this guy.
Right.
What do we do? It's going to make it a lot more interesting, because now you're not going to have a split of like, okay, half the people like this guy, half the people don't. What's going to happen if they just like, nope, we don't need you. say we make it to second round of the playoffs and they just say, all right, we don't need you anymore. And
Right.
then what happens if we go into the next year and the guy we just drafted is not very good?
Right.
That's not going to be great, right? Like, I don't want to go worst case scenario, but that
No.
would not be good.
Well, it's just so tough. And I hate that we're already having this discussion in week 4, but you almost have to just because of how convincingly well he's played.
He's been great.
And I know it's just so crazy. It's like, okay, the Vikings finally did the right thing. They got who they believe is their quarterback of the future. Which I've been at least clamoring for, I mean, we've all been clamoring for it overall in history for forever, but especially this past year that they did for me, they parted ways with Kirk Cousins. It's like, all right, you're finally accepting that you have to rebuild a little, at least a little bit. And they finally do it. And now they're in this situation where they don't even need it, what is happening?
Well, I think you just have to look at it of like 1 week at a time. And you have to just reevaluate at the end of the year. If he plays well, I don't think you can just, I hear a lot of people already of just assuming of like, no matter what happens, we're going to move on and go with JJ no matter what.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think you can do that, or I don't agree with that idea. Just because to me, no matter what you think of JJ McCarthy, how good you think he's going to be, he hasn't done anything yet, no matter what you think of him. He could be great. He could be Christian Ponder. Like, you don't know. Like, I don't want him to be that. Like, I want him to be awesome.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
To be clear.
Yeah,
like, I want him to be good. But you don't know that. Like, there's no way of knowing.
No.
Like, obviously, Kevin O'Connell knows way more than I will ever know. But if Sam Darnold plays well all year, I will have a very hard time of just letting him walk.
Yeah. Well, it's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
It is a good problem to have. And I don't think, I mean, just look at Sam Darnold as an example. It's not necessarily bad to wait like for maybe JJ to sit another year or something like that. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Look at Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah.
Look at Jordan Love.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, when they're rushed, like a Sam Darnold, that's the results that you get is who is just a guy who's the laughing stock of the league. I mean, and look at Baker. Baker obviously had more success than Sam did, but he was all but thrown out in the trash. And now look at him. He's like leading the league in touchdowns, I think, or at least close to the top. So I don't think it's the worst thing for him to sit. But I just believe that isn't Sam on a 1-year deal?
It's on a 1-year deal, but I think the things that I would keep in mind regarding him are he's not old. He's 27.
Right.
And also, this isn't Case Keenum. He was a number 3 overall pick. Like, he's a talented player. He just never put it all together,
Yeah, he has a higher ceiling.
He's got talent.
Obviously.
He can throw the ball. He can run. Like, he made some runs on Sunday that we haven't had a guy that could move like that in a while,
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. But I just feel like if he keeps continuing to play like this, he's going to get offered a big deal that Minnesota's not going to.
I don't even want to think about him going somewhere else.
No. That's way too far away. And like I said, if that happens, it's a good problem to have. So, let's now speaking about Sam really quick. That interception on Sunday, what the heck was that? Like,
that wasn't an interception.
No,
by the way.
yeah, I know.
I don't know what happened with the review or why it wasn't reviewed. I didn't catch that part in the stadium.
Yeah.
Given that it wouldn't have went in their favor, they didn't really show the replay. I kind of saw it afterwards, but that was not an interception.
No, yeah.
What did they really say on TV? I haven't watched it back. Did they really talk about it or not really?
A little bit. They were saying, that they didn't believe that it was an interception. I don't know why it wasn't reviewed because I was actually I had went somewhere for the first half and then I was hurrying up and getting home in the halftime. So I just watched clips back. I didn't see it live, but yeah, that was weird. But you got your stat sheet there. What do you have to bring up?
Yeah, I just got, I was just looking, got my stats, I was just going through, I don't think that it's been talked about enough of how good this team is.
Yeah.
I think everyone is, like you had talked about or kind of alluded to earlier, that everyone seems kind of surprised that the fact that we are 4-0, but I don't think it is a fluke.
No,
given
that's
how well we've played.
That's the difference with this season than the season a few years ago where they kept winning in the last 2 minutes and things like that. Fluky things were happening in that season and some of the other past seasons where they were undefeated. This one is just straight up winning or dominating. There's not all these funky things that are happening.
Well, these are good teams,
Yeah,
too. You're beating
playoff
49ers, Texans, Green Bay at Lambeau.
Yeah.
You know, they was
And
just
they're convincing wins.
Just running some of the numbers here. The Vikings are fourth in turnover margin. They are fifth in offensive explosiveness, 11th in offensive efficiency, fifth in defensive efficiency.
Only fifth?
Offense
Wow.
is third in points per game, 12th in yards per game, third in points per play.
Oh.
You know, you could go on and on here. They're leading the NFL in sacks, leading the NFL in passes defended, tied for second with 5 interceptions, tied for third with 6 takeaways. You know, when you're doing it on both sides of the ball, which they are, and you have two of the best young minds on, you know, in Flores and Kevin O'Connell, you're building something that is sustainable.
Yeah.
And I don't see any reason why it can't continue throughout the season. You know, you've already played some of the harder teams on your schedule, and you're going to get into a little bit of the softer teams on your schedule coming up with, you know, I think they have the Jaguars coming up. I think maybe the Colts are coming up too. You know, some of the easier teams that you can kind of, if you get through this, if you win this next game in London, you know, you can go to the bye week and then you follow that with, you know, the Colts and the Jaguars. You can really be sitting nice.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they have the Rams on a Thursday, and then I don't know. I had the whole beginning of the schedule because how I memorize the schedule is the tailgate schedule. So since we don't have any until the four in December, after these first ones, it's a little blurry for me. But I know they have the Lions on the 20th of this month, which is really their next kind of big test. Everyone was like, this season starts out so hard, and it was like if they could get out of this 2-2, that'd be, you know, really, really good. But now it's like, I hate to get cocky.
I want to get greedy now.
I hate to get cocky, but it's like, well, who's made the Lions are the next
first loss.
I don't see a loss. So I don't see a loss on the schedule at this point. But okay, so speaking of this Sunday, Aaron, what do you think this defense has in store for Aaron Rodgers? Should he be scared?
They didn't look too hot last week.
The Jets, no, but the weather conditions were not good.
Sure. I would say that it's always tough going against Rodgers. But I always feel like anytime Harrison Smith plays against Rodgers, he always does really well against him.
Yeah, he gave him a shout out today. Aaron Rodgers gave him did you see that?
He always does.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like a mind game he tries to play with him, like trying to mess with him. But I don't know. I feel so confident in Flores.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the teams that we go against, they always talk about how different Flores' scheme is compared to the other teams that they play, that I feel like it's really hard to prepare for because I think they kind of liken it more to like a college scheme versus some of the other NFL things that they see that I just think it's harder to prepare for.
Well, a lot of quarterbacks that came out, like obviously Brock Purdy said that they've just never seen anything like it, which is, I don't know, it's just so unique. And well, as far as the coaching staff, the NFL players, the NFLPA report cards came out today, and the Vikings, I think, got second overall out of all the teams, but they had A+ in coaching, which is just, I mean, obviously I love this coaching staff too. If you compare them to what we were coming from, I don't remember what the grade was that year, but it's clear that it was polar opposite. And especially since our former head coach had to come out with an article 3 years later slandering the franchise, and now his defense is failing terribly in Dallas, which I don't want the guy to fail, but it's like, well, mate, you're not really focused. You're still living in the past, bro. So
let it be known, we were never believers.
No, we weren't. I mean, at first I was obviously, but then I don't remember when it turned. Maybe 2019, I was over it, but as were you. But okay, let's get back on to what else we got on the stats sheet.
Well,
what else do we need
I
to touch
guess
on? You got a lot of
I got a
pages
lot
there.
of pages here. It's just a lot of screenshots of just
You-
overall rankings of the team, the defense.
My black ink, by the way, is totally out now.
I ran everything out of the printer is done for.
Is it really?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, hey, Josh, I need to use your phone for the show. He's like, my notes are on there. I'm like, well, you can print. I didn't know he was going to be printing a black background on 17 pages.
I think the number one takeaway for me so far has just been that I guess my expectations were kind of low, so it's just been a surprise at how convincingly they've won.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they were going to be good, and they haven't just been good. They've been, they look like the best team in the NFL.
Dominant. I think they're pretty much top 3 in all of the power rankings that I've seen.
Right, and I've watched a lot of the other teams play, and they look like the best team in the league.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's bizarre to see. I'm not used to watching. I think it's just a testament to how good the coaching staff is on both sides. That it's I think oftentimes we forget of how much it. The players matter, but the coaching matters just as much. And we have 2 of the best coaches on each side of the ball, and I think it's going to be really hard to hold on to Flores at the end of the year.
I know. I keep hoping that he just doesn't necessarily want to be a head coach.
I hope you're right.
Because, there are some guys like a Mike Zimmer should have never been a head coach. I know I'm slandering him right now, but he was always up at the podium. Oh, hands off the offense. I want nothing to do with the offense. And well, you can't really be a head coach. Well, first of all, he was always contradicting himself because he said he didn't have anything to do with the offense, but then he would criticize the offense, fire his offensive coordinators, blah, blah, blah. But he's a guy who never really wanted to be a head coach. He wanted the accolades of being a head coach, but he just wanted to stick to his defense, and that's it. So hopefully Brian Flores feels the same way, but he did obviously have he got thrown under the bus in Miami. He shouldn't have been let go. He didn't get a fair shake there. But okay, who would you say is what new additions to the Vikings this year have made the biggest impact in your opinion? Other than Sam, because that's obvious. Sam is the no-brainer.
If I can't go Sam, Aaron Jones has looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Green Bay's got to be kicking themselves because, Josh Jacobs is a good player, but Aaron Jones, he looked like the best running back on the field on Sunday. On defense, Stephon Gilmore looks pretty good to be signed off the trash heap. He looks every bit as good as he's ever looked.
Yeah, exactly. And then Van Ginkel has been.
Van Ginkel,
amazing.
Grenard looks really good.
Yeah. They've definitely. I expected them, to be above average, but they've done so well, especially just coming to the system this year.
He's not a new addition, but he's not played yet. But it's crazy that Hawkinson's not even played yet, and the offense looks this good.
Yeah, I couldn't believe. I could believe, but Jordan Addison to have a game like that, first game back.
It's going to sound like the most homer thing ever, but it is truly an embarrassment of riches on offense. Like, I don't even want to. It sounds like the most purple glasses thing ever, but I don't know if there's a team with more weapons on offense than the Vikings have. If you look at the receivers, the tight ends, Aaron Jones at running back, we have a good offensive line.
Yeah, all of a sudden we have a good offensive line.
I don't know who you would say has better right now.
You got to pinch yourself. You got to pinch yourself for sure.
Look at us. Yeah, I feel like the Paul Rudd meme. Look at us. Who would have thought we'd be here?
Who would have thought?
Me.
Not me. No, absolutely. So, have you changed your opinion on Kwesi? Are you back on the Kwesi train?
I feel like that all hinges on McCarthy.
Well, sure. For this season, because obviously they got the free agents, and I'm sure Flores had a ton to do with that. His opinion obviously is trusted, but he's the one who hired. Well, no, he didn't hire KOC, did he? No, they came in together. So I'm sorry, he didn't hire him.
One thing I will give Kwesi a lot of credit for, and I don't know if this was his call or if it was more the ownership's decision, but they have done a great job at signing undrafted free agents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Ivan Pace has
Mhm.
turned out to be a great player, and he was,
Yeah.
undrafted free agent.
They have done a great job with
They've
that.
done a really good job with that. And I don't know if that's his doing or if that was just someone above him's call, but if that's him, kudos to him.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of credit for that, so I would assume it's
So
him.
if that was him, well done.
And Ivan Pace, he was back to practice.
Yeah, he's
so
supposed to be
hopefully,
back.
hopefully he'll
Hopefully
be
he's
back.
back. Yeah.
All right. Well,
But yeah, I feel like you got to give him. I'll give him some credit. I think it all hinges on the quarterback, though. Like that's
course.
always going to be tied to the GM.
Yeah, that's how it's always gonna, how they're always gonna get their report cards.
I'm also curious to see now that we're winning.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you got to kind of make some moves here because
do you think they'll make any?
And I think you got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think you need to trade all our picks or anything, but
well, we don't have that many.
We don't have much. That's part of the problem. But if you can get something on the cheap, I think we should probably do that.
Yeah, from some sellers. Yeah, I mean, what position do you think they could upgrade at?
I saw a lot about defensive tackle. I saw something crazy about Dexter Lawrence from the Giants, and that seems not even realistic. That guy's a monster, and if the Giants were even considering that, please do that. If they want to do that, please do that. But that doesn't seem real.
No, I mean, why would they consider that?
I also saw something about Devontae Adams. Again, if that's real, do it. But I can't even imagine our wide receiver room if you added Devontae Adams. But
no,
why not? If you could do it,
Well, if you could do it, sure. But I don't know. I feel like at least Dexter Lawrence. I mean, that's going to take a way higher pick than they've got to offer.
But I mean, if you can get one of the best DTs in the league, go for it. I'm not going to complain.
I don't know. It went away, but somebody wants to know, why would you trade anything? I don't necessarily think that they need to trade anything. I think they're doing so well now. But fingers crossed, they have not been bit by the injury bug at all. In fact, they've got people coming back. So I personally don't know if they should trade anything, but that's first week in November.
It's early.
I heard it's election day. I just realized that it's the same day as election day. Twitter is going to be wild.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to that.
No, they should have rescheduled it they should have done something, because man, Twitter's going to be brutal. Going to have to mute all of the election terms for that
I'm logging off that day.
Yeah, we're logging off. Just sign up for notifications from Adam Schefter and NFL Network and that, and just get them direct to your phone. Delete the app other than that on election day.
Everything else is getting muted.
Yeah, because I'm sure Elon's going to. Yeah. Anywho, all right. Well, what else do we got here? What else you got? Anything else to add? What's your predictions for Sunday? We got to be up early.
We're gonna win. It's gonna be early. Yeah. What are we doing for the game? We're gonna watch it, Brits. What's the deal?
Brits would probably be a very cool place to watch it at. Don't you think?
I know they're having it.
Yeah, I heard that Chelsea got kicked off the big screen.
Nah, that didn't happen. Chelsea game is later.
Oh, TJ told me that they were getting the boot to a private room or something.
Oh, wow. I might have a conflict of interest here.
That's what TJ told me. I mean, he's not really a fake news guy, so I think he.
That's true.
I think
no, that would be fun. That would be a fun place to watch.
Yeah, London. Yeah.
I mean, I think we're gonna win.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, we're undefeated. How would you not think we're gonna win at this point?
I think the defense is going to have a lot for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think he's going to regret coming back.
I also have to feel like Darnold revenge game a little bit too.
I know. See, I think honestly, yeah, for sure. I think he's got something to prove. And I don't know if I wish that it was going to be at MetLife for his sake, or if I'm happy that it's a neutral site for him.
Yeah. I think it's better that it's neutral site.
I do too.
The New York crowd and all
the ghosts.
That,
Oh yeah, the New York crowd. Yeah,
that field sucks too. You don't want anybody getting an ACL.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I guess we'll wrap it up then. Thank you everybody for watching. I didn't know it was going to be live tonight. I'm glad that it was, because it actually went well, but I didn't get to tend to the chat. And I'll be working on that for my next live. Don't worry, because I want to be a little bit more interactive. But
Oh yeah, you could have took some questions.
I know. I saw a couple pop up there, but so for my next episode, I'm actually going to have my friend Nicole on. She lives in London, so she's going to fill us in on all of the pregame festivities. From what I understand, there's a whole week of celebration going on over there in London, and so she's going to let us know. She's going to fill us in on all of it and what to expect as far as the London scene goes. And she's lived there for about a little over a year now. Do you remember, Nicole? Vikings WTF is her is her handle.
I think so.
Which I thought she was a guy for years because her picture. I thought she was a guy for years. Vikings WTF. Like I can't think of a better username. But yeah, so I'll be back with Nicole. Actually, tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday already. And yeah, anything else you want to add?
Let's get this win. Let's keep it rolling.
Let's get this one. Do you have you want to give an updated record prediction or no? I'm sticking with 17-0 personally.
I mean, it's hard to see a loss right now.
And I feel like, I mean, we're going to be resting starters so early that those might be the only losses.
You know, we might get to the third string quarterback, resting. We might pick up a loss or two at the end.
Yeah. A week 17-18 loss maybe. But because anyway, let me not get too cocky. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. SKOL, looking forward to Sunday. I'm sure it's going to be a W. And now we get an extended Sunday to watch football all day long. We can actually watch the noon games.
So we get that first win. We get to watch and relax all day. Watch everyone else lose. It's great.
Yeah. Okay, guys, this has been Skoldiers Spice on Vikings First and SKOL Network. Thank you so much for joining. Can't wait to be back with you next week talking about another Vikings victory. So, and thank you, Josh, for joining me. If you can follow him on Twitter at Tennesota. Okay, SKOL, guys. Have a good night.
Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And rate us on your favorite aggregator. And a big shout out goes to Sal and her guests on this Vikings First and SKOL production, partnered with the Fans First Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, and SKOL.